tonight with us for the next hour. We know everybody's busy right now. It's the start of Hanukkah today. It is the Christmas season. Parties are happening every night of the week. So we are grateful that you're taking the time tonight to join us. We are going to start off with an invocation by Mary Jo Wheeler. She is our chapter chair in Wood County, Wisconsin. After Mary Jo Wheeler, Jessica Graham. She is our National Programs Director at Moms for Liberty. She's going to share a Madison Minute. And then Marie Rogerson. She is a member of our executive board. She is going to intro the theme of the evening and share some information with you. One more thing. This meeting tonight is the property of Moms for Liberty. So please do not record this meeting tonight. Please do not share clips out of this meeting tonight. This is for you, the members of Moms for Liberty. Thank you.
Hey, Mary Jo, we want to hear you. Can you unmute your mic for us? Happens to the best of us, whether it's Zoom or StreamYard, it's all the tech, right?
Oh, gotta love technology. So, dear Lord, thank you for helping me with the technology. And Marie. So, good evening, ladies. And I am blessed to be here with all of you from around the nation. And Lord, we're all hot messes some days. And the best thing about you is you don't see us as hot messes. You just look in our hearts and why you created us and our purpose here and what we're doing. Our goal is for our children. We've been harassed. We've been called names. Awful things have started to happen to us around our chapters. We need just to put our heads down and bear through the wind, the storm and the rain that is driving down on us, and just hope that you are the light at the end of this tunnel and we can do the best we can as chapter chairs and chapter members for the children. That's why we are here. You helped us, you shaped us, you brought us into this world, and you have a vision for all of us here. And I ask you that you leave us meeting and lead us in the right direction in our path. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. In a letter to Mercy Otis Warren, Abigail Adams once said, "May justice and liberty finally prevail, and the friends of freedom enjoy that satisfaction and tranquility which ever attends upright intentions and is the sure recompense of virtue." Our founding fathers faced adversity too, but they stuck to their mission for justice and liberty. So let Abigail's words be our reminder that as long as we stay true to our good intentions and keep fighting for freedom, we are on the right path. When things get rough, find some peace in knowing we are standing on the side of virtue. Together, let's ride out the storm, and in the end, justice and liberty will be our reward. We've got this.
All right, well, Mary Jo, I know how terrifying it is to be added to a stream where hundreds of people are probably going to watch you, so I feel your pain. Thank you for praying despite that and not letting that stop you. Jessica, thank you for those words. For those of you who may not be super familiar with Moms for Liberty chapter meetings, because you maybe live where we don't have a chapter, we always try to start our meetings with a Madison Minute because one of our goals is to reconnect to our founding principles. And so by sharing something from someone in the founding generation like Abigail Adams, we're able to connect to those principles that made America what they are. So tonight, we're going to have a very special meeting, I hope. I know 2023 has been a rough year for many Americans between inflation and the library books that are in our schools and the content that's being taught and indoctrination and wars internationally. There is a lot going on. It is a lot to deal with. I know a lot of people are struggling. And so when we pondered on what to do for this meeting tonight, what was brought to mind and on our hearts was to help y'all see that among all of this, there is victories. We are still winning despite the heaviness of what's going on. I mean, we have literally, we've been called every name in the book Moms for Liberty has, our members have. We know who we are in our hearts, and so we don't let the name calling stop us, because we are courageous, and you have been courageous alongside us, and you inspire us. So we have a very small national team that kind of supports all of our chapters and all our members and provides all the resources you see on our website. But it's really, truly the 130,000 of you out on the ground that are fueling this movement. Your courage to stand up and speak the truth and stand for kids is what is changing the face of America. And we want you to see that. Sometimes a massive movement, you see the numbers, we can see the wins in the numbers, but sometimes you get disconnected from the actual lives that are being impacted by what you're doing, especially maybe if you're not in a chapter, in an area with a chapter. So tonight, we're going to hear from 4 individuals whose lives have been impacted by Moms for Liberty members, whether that's in a chapter or just in some other form or fashion. And they're going to tell those stories because we think it is important to not only have a rebirth of those founding principles like we talked about with the Madison Minute, but to have a rebirth of the founding spirit, that spirit of bravery that understood that freedom and liberty were important enough to sacrifice life, liberty, and our treasure for. And we want you guys to see that what you are sacrificing and the things that you may be dealing with in your lives are worth it, because lives are truly being changed. So we're going to get into that tonight. I want y'all to remember that we are, I mean, you can see from my background, we're all just a bunch of moms. This is not a professional production tonight. We're all, wherever we are around the country, tuning in tonight and sharing these things. So I hope in all of this, you'll see not only hope and change that's happening around the country in our chapters and our members, but realness, that you can be a mom in your room with a bowling pin behind you in a Zoom meeting and make a difference. It doesn't take special people. It takes people willing to work. And so we're going to start off tonight. I'm going to introduce to you our chapter operations lady, Miss Pat Blackburn, who has been with us since almost the beginning. She is the driving force that sustains our chapters and walks alongside them and does many amazing things. And she also, if that's your tree, she decorates a mad Christmas tree. So, Pat, take it over.
Hi, thank you, Marie. My name is Pat Blackburn. I'm the National Chapter Director for Moms for Liberty, and it is truly an honor and a privilege that I have to work with all of our amazing chapter chairs around the country. If you're looking to see if you have a chapter in your county, you can just go to momsforliberty.org. Right there on the homepage, you'll see a map of the United States that you can search to see if there's a chapter in your county. In my county, our chapter chair said she just kept looking, and there wasn't one, and she kept looking, and finally she started our chapter, and we're just so blessed to have her. So Moms for Liberty launched in 2021, and we grew very quickly, and we are now at 300 chapters in 48 states, and it is such a privilege to work with each and every one of our moms and a few dads who run our chapters, and they're there on the ground helping to empower, educate, empower, and unify parents. We're saving this country, and we're doing it one county at a time. So I have the pleasure of introducing to you a student whose life has been changed and helped by the Moms for Liberty chapter where he lives. He's in Wood County, Wisconsin. His name is Dylan, and he's going to share with us his story tonight. Welcome, Dylan.
Hi, thank you. Let me just pull up my notes.
Hold on.
Okay, so this all kind of started last year about the springtime. Essentially, the story's pretty simple, but there are some details that I can go into. Marshfield High School, where I graduated from, has not recognized valedictorian and salutatorian for the last 25, almost 30 years, and I actually graduated ranked number 1 in my class, and so I took it to the school board. I said, why don't we do this? This seems like, we can recognize athletics, theater, everything else. Why can't we recognize the 1 and 2 at graduation? And I got a lot of pushback. I got called selfish by a board member for looking out for myself. I got told by another one, Dylan, I'm so proud of you, but this just isn't something we can do. And I kind of refused to accept that. So I found Kathy Gorst and Tara Tremelling, who were two school board members elected through the Moms for Liberty organization. I had a conversation with them, a couple conversations with them, and the three of us kind of collectively decided, there is no reason why we can't bring this back to graduation. There is no reason why we shouldn't be celebrating academic success along with every other possible realm of success we possibly could. And then the thing that really got me going was an email from the athletics department inviting any student athlete competing in college, whether that's Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, junior college. I mean, you didn't even have to show proof. You just kind of walked up on the stage and did a signing day. And I said, well, now if we can get several emails inviting the athletes to get recognition, why do I have to go before the school board to get, called selfish and self-serving and then told that this just wasn't a possibility? I couldn't accept that. And so Kathy actually put it on the docket for the next board meeting. They had a lot of discussion. They voted, and the measure failed. But we had Kathy and Tara vote in favor of recognizing valedictorian, and we had one more too, who was not affiliated with Moms for Liberty, still isn't, but he saw common sense, I like to think, and he pretty much said, this is a good idea. I can't believe we weren't doing this in the past. And I think that was kind of the notion for most of Marshfield, thinking, when did we stop doing this? They didn't know that we stopped doing this. And actually at graduation, so I was still a speaker simply because no one else wanted to. I mean, there were 3 people that applied and 3 slots. So I gave my speech and everything, but through the Moms for Liberty, we had pins made up that said, I support valedictorian and salutatorian. So when I went up to get honored for being in the top 5% of my class, which they do recognize still, and again when I spoke, and again when I got my diploma, the camera went on to my pin that said, we support valedictorian and salutatorian. And actually we had, I think, 50 of them when I walked into the gym where we were all getting ready, and I passed them all out. So about a sixth of my class graduated with those pins on, and I think after that it was difficult for the school board to say that no one cares about this, no one heard us. And I think that's, I don't think I know that this is due to Kathy and Tara actually having the power to force it onto the docket and to force the conversation, because quite frankly the rest of the school board didn't want to give me the time of day. They didn't want to deal with this issue. In fact, the president of the school board made the remark a few times about how 13, 15 years ago she dealt with this, and she just knew that it was wrong, and she just knew that we didn't have time to rehash this, and so she just wanted us to take her word for it. And I actually said, well, 13 years ago I was a toddler, and so I think enough time has passed that we can reevaluate this. And Kathy and Tara agreed, and eventually the third member, Mark, agreed too. And so it's still kind of going through committee right now. The president is still trying to kill it, but I was invited back by Mary Jo and the rest of the Moms for Liberty to share the story, and I thought, yeah, absolutely, because this is something that is not at all political. I don't think really controversial, especially since the school did already rank me. It was just a matter of acknowledging it. Now I am a first year at Northwestern University studying political science and history, pre-law, hopefully going into corporate takeover law. And yeah, my first case was kind of against the school board. I'm still actually working on it. I'm about to publish an article in one of our local newspapers ahead of school board re-elections, kind of highlighting what happened and making sure that Marshfield is aware of who they are voting for, because I think that's a huge issue, is just lack of knowledge and lack of understanding about what's happening in the school. And I think that's one thing that Moms for Liberty does very well, is just shine a light on what's going down. Because I mean, the most common thing I heard when I said they're not acknowledging valedictorian and salutatorian was, they're not? When did that stop? It was kind of something that people didn't miss because they didn't know it was gone. In fact, one of our school board members, Tara, she graduated in 2003, and she has a distinct memory of recognizing valedictorian and salutatorian, even though it never happened. That's just kind of something that people expect at the graduation ceremony. But that notion was too difficult for our president and some of our other board members to wrap their heads around. And so now here I am almost a year later, after graduating high school, still just trying to get the district to do the right thing. And we do have 3 of our 7 seats are up for grabs in the spring. And so if they didn't want to listen to us while they had their seats, they won't have the option to listen to us when they get voted out of office. So that's where we are. And that is thanks in large part to the candidates from Moms for Liberty, and also the people who were just vocal enough to support me and to support my fellow students and raise awareness of the issue.
Wow, thank you so much, Dylan. I mean, I wish everybody could hear the applause. I'm sure everybody at home is giving you a standing ovation. I know that your chapter is proud of you. Hello. Wow, you restore my hope in America. I look around our country and I see parents and I see their children. I see them raising children. And it gives us such hope that we have a bright future in this country. And Dylan, you are a prime example of that. Thank you so much for the courage that you have to stand up. And these policies at your local school board are so important, and that's why it's important that people are paying attention. So thank you, because the students coming behind you are going to benefit from your work. Thank you very much. Well, you just heard right there a testimony to the work that our chapters do in their communities. No matter what the issue is, our organization is grassroots. Each chapter is autonomous and free to decide what is important to the parents there in your community. Whether it's this issue or whether it's another policy that's affecting your children, whether maybe it's a policy you'd like to fight for, something new, something better. We all care about our schools, and we're the organization that's there to help make sure that our children can be successful. And so I urge you all right now, if you haven't ever done it before, please go to www.momsforliberty.org. You will see our map, the United States map. You can look and see if there's a Moms for Liberty chapter right there in your county. If there is, awesome. Click on the website, join the chapter, reach out to the chapter chair. We need all hands on deck. But if you don't have a chapter in your community, you can do this. We don't ask for political savants. We just ask for people who are willing to stand up as joyful warriors, and we'll help train you to do what it is you need to do. So please go to momsforliberty.org and check out that chapter map. Now, I would like to introduce one of our co-founders, Tina Deskovich. Thank you, Tina. She's going to talk to you some more about our membership.
Yeah, I think there's a break in me speaking now and by the end, and I'm going to go find a mini Christmas tree and put on some Moms for Liberty swag, Pat, because you are showing me up. I've got nothing. I'm not branded. I'm not Christmassy. So you're looking great there, Pat, in North Carolina. I'm going to talk for a minute about our membership. So we started Moms for Liberty with just 2 chapters, and just a handful of members here in my county in Brevard and in Tiffany's County in Indian River, Florida. And so 2 chapters. As they have already said, we've grown to 300 chapters across the country, 130,000 members, as you heard us say in the opening video from Fox Nation. It's remarkable that in under 3 years, 130,000 of you have stepped up to serve and be members of your chapters. And then several of you aren't even in chapters yet. You're just members at large out there fighting the battles kind of on your own with a few friends. So we hope that you'll group together to form chapters. As Pat said, it doesn't take a savant. It doesn't take a whole lot. You'll be background checked and interviewed. You have to have a passion in your heart to want to fight for kids, make a better education system, and improve our country. Up next, we are going to hear from Brandy King. She is a parent in Carroll County, Maryland, and she's going to share with us a story about how her chapter there in Carroll County has supported her. Hi, Brandy.
Hi. How is everybody? So I'm going to start with my story. My daughter, last year, she had, I think, 2 friends, and she was wrapped up in all this, gender and gender ideology, and I had parents, well, two of the parents, I'd say, telling me that I should let my daughter be who she wanted to be. And let me tell you, my daughter is the most girliest girl, and there were some staff there as well in the school, trying to affirm her and tell her she can be a boy. They were calling her a boy. There's no boy about her. And so I went through a really tough time last year. I was not part of Moms for Liberty yet. I had not heard about them. And it was a very difficult journey for me, I'd say. Very difficult. And I wasn't getting any help from the school. The counselor actually in the school had LGBT books in there, so I wasn't getting anywhere. And so at the end of last year, at the school year in June, is when I reached out to my chapter here in Carroll County, Maryland, and had spoken to Kit, and just, she was phenomenal. I joined, and I think that's the best thing I've ever done. I learned so much. I made friends, like-minded people. I've been to meetings ever since then. I felt comfortable. I've spoken at a board meeting concerning the books that were here in our county, and I just made meaningful friendships. But the most thing that is very disturbing in the schools, and we are in a very conservative county and a conservative school district, that this happened to my daughter, and I had to get her counseling. And since then, it's like a 180 turnaround for her. She is now, she goes to church on a regular basis. She has goals. She's completely turned around. But if I hadn't caught it and hadn't joined the chapter and just learned about my parental rights and learned so much and been educated on everything, I don't think I would have any direction, because I did not get any guidance from my school district, which was really, we were in a very dark place with gender ideology and the LGBT, and I had them telling me I should just let my daughter be who she wanted to be, and that's not who she was. So it was very difficult, and Moms for Liberty has been phenomenal. Without my chapter, I wouldn't have known what to do. I wouldn't have known anything. So I am very grateful for being part of Moms for Liberty, and I will continue to fight for my daughter. And I have nieces and nephews in this county, and I will just continue to advocate for our children just being kids. They're being pushed into being older than what they should be, and we have to fight for that, because there's just too much out there, especially with this LGBT and gender ideology that is just running rampant, and there's not enough pushback. I've seen a lot of pushback lately, but it's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's been a challenge. So I just thank my chapter here in Carroll County, Maryland, and the support I've had, and you can tell I'm nervous, so I'm sorry. The support I've had, and the friends I've made, it's been phenomenal. My chapter is phenomenal. So
Brandy, let me just take a couple minutes if you don't mind. I'm sorry that you're nervous. Don't be nervous.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry.
Here's your friend. Everybody here is happy that you're here. So tell me a little bit about yourself before you got involved in your chapter and you had to experience this with your child. Would you consider yourself a political person?
Well, yes, I am. So, I don't know how far you want me to go into that, but.
No, I'm just, a lot of times, a lot of our moms say, I never really voted before, or I didn't.
No, I've been voting since I was 18, so I'm very knowledgeable about that. But this took me by surprise. Like, you've always heard about all of these pronouns. I mean, they talk about pronouns in the schools. My daughter knows more about pronouns than she does about the map of the USA. That's a problem for me. She knows more about that. Coming home and saying, they're talking about this. Here's the pronoun. I can't even keep up with that. I mean, it's all new to me, and that disturbed me very much.
Of course it did. We know in America that 2/3 of American fourth graders are not reading on grade level.
No.
We know that we have the lowest reading score since the 1980s, the lowest math score since we've been recording that.
Yes.
It's not any better in Maryland than anywhere else in the country.
Right.
Our students, your child, included, can list the tens of, I think there's 50, I'm not even going to.
I don't know.
There are multiple genders apparently and gender identity. Many. I've seen some lists of all types of things, Z and different things. They can list those. I don't know them because they didn't teach that when I went to school, but
me either.
Right, but they struggle with doing the basics, and so
Right.
At Moms for Liberty, we just want kids to read. We just want to get back to the basics. We want kids to have an education that can help them thrive.
Yeah, and I had no guidance last year. Like, it was horrible. It was horrible in the school, and I didn't have any guidance. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what my parental rights were. I didn't know anything about navigating the school system, anything of that. So Moms for Liberty has been such an impact on me. And now to hear my daughter, she has a plan. She has goals. She wants to serve. When she gets out of high school, she wants to become a police officer. It's like a totally different person. So, I mean, it's been fantastic. It's been a fantastic year thus far. I mean, you're always going to have to work at it, but.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Brandy, for sharing your story. I know sometimes it's personal, and to get on with others and to share what's going on with your family is challenging, but it helps encourage others. It inspires others. You heard earlier, and if you're part of the chapter, we are under immense attack all the time, name called. And it's very important that our members hear success stories and hear how important it was to you to have them to help guide you and, to have a team and people around you to help get you through some of these issues. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Thank you. And thank everybody for fighting for all of our kids throughout America.
Okay, now let's see. I'm going to look at my agenda here. Let's see. Oh, next up is Geraldine Jones. Geraldine is in Iowa. She is our chapter chair in Lynn County. She has recently joined the Moms for Liberty national team to help us out in some areas, and so she is going to speak to you.
Surprise! It's not Geraldine. We've had a slight programming change. We're waiting for the guest that Geraldine is going to be introducing to get on still. So we're going to skip him for a minute, and we're going to come to me. We're saving the best for last. Geraldine is definitely a much better choice than I am. But we're going to talk first about our elections wins for the year. So if you are active on social media at all, you probably had a very interesting experience this election season because the trolls came out in full force and had all kinds of things to say about our results this election. But I am here to tell you we had a fantastic year. We won more than 50% of our races last year, and we won almost the same amount this year. And we've now had a total of 365 more, technically, candidates win for Moms for Liberty endorsements all across the country. That is one candidate per day of the year. And the amazing thing about that is almost 80% of our candidates are first-time candidates. And if you have ever run for office it is quite a challenging experience. And so most first-time candidates actually lose. So to have the success that we're having is proof that the principles that we're standing for and the way that we are going about it is resonating with voters. So we are going to have hear from tonight one of our winning school board members from York County. Her name is Christiane Brenner. And she's going to share her story about why she ran, how the chapter came around her and supported her, and why it is important for parents to stand up and do things like run for school board.
Hello.
Hey, welcome.
How are you?
Good.
My name is Christiane Brennan. I am from York County, Pennsylvania. My school district is North Southwestern School District in Hanover, Pennsylvania specifically. I think a lot of us can be familiar and know what happened 3 years ago with COVID and the lockdowns and our kids being locked up in the homes, virtually learning. And that's kind of why the five of us that ran together, but specifically me as well, ran for school board now. We started to see what was happening in the classroom via the laptops, Chromebooks, and whatnot that the kids were doing for school. And it was pretty eye-opening, and for the parents, for us, and for me. I know a lot of kids struggled. I know a lot of kids should not and could not do school online, as most cannot. So a lot of us dealt with that, as did most of the country. And a lot of the reasons why I ran specifically was many of the same reasons that most of the people run. I specifically ran not only to get the education system straight, but I also come from a mental health background. So the mental health toll that was going on with these children, teens, little kids, due to the lockdowns, is one of the main reasons I ran. We also saw what the curriculum was that was really being fed to the children. We started to slowly attend school board meetings. I won't lie, I am just a single mom that thought everything was great, in the school system. The kids went to school, they came home, they did their sports, and that's how it went. Again, until everything started happening in the home, because we had no choice because of the lockdowns. And I didn't really know what a school board was. I mean, I knew they had them, but I didn't really know what they did until, again, COVID. And I started to attend many of the meetings and figure out that, wow, there's a lot going on here. And they have a lot of, I guess if you want to call it, control, per se. And they really do decide a lot in the school. So as you attended more and more meetings, and as the year kept going on, and the masking, and the curriculum, and the sort of going back to school with the masking and all that, everything started to slowly unfold. And then CRT came about, and SEL, and all that started to come to the surface. The kids started coming home saying things that were just not okay, not appropriate. And then, the typical fiscal responsibility, taxes, what was being spent of the taxes, where was it going, where was it being allocated. We also firmly believe that traditional excellence, school traditional excellence, let's get back to teaching. There's too much of the pronouns and whatnots and everything else going on. Let's just get back to math, reading, English, all the typical things that the kids should be doing. I know that I am part of the York County, PA, York County chapter with Rhonda Garmin. When she reached out to us and wanting to help us out, I didn't really, again, know much about Moms for Liberty, but what I can say is that she was really, really helpful with the election, with the campaign. I know that having Moms for Liberty help us out in that respect. Everyone knows what Moms for Liberty is, and while I know a lot of people have a lot of bad thoughts and there's a stigma about Moms for Liberty, I would say that more than not, the percentage-wise, that it's a positive thing. And it really has helped us out, not only the name, but when you think of moms, you know, mama bears, protection, protective capacity. That's a mental health term, again, because I come from a mental health background. It seems safe, it seems real, it seems something familiar, because we all have moms. So I feel like having the Moms for Liberty name attached to when we ran was super helpful, and I couldn't have been more proud than to have had that attached to my name as well when we ran. I am very, very thankful for having, you know, become known into the Moms for Liberty world. I am super thankful that we were able to, you know, go into that avenue, whereas as like a group, it's easier to run, I think, as a group than individually. We also did flip our board. The 5 that we knocked off, literally we flipped our board completely conservative. So it's been a great thing, and I couldn't be more thankful for Rhonda Garmin of York County board, chapter, and I couldn't have been more thankful for all the different avenues that has helped us out and geared us towards, and given us the opportunity to do this. Awesome. Thanks, Christiane. Thanks for sharing your story and talking about why you ran. I think it's fascinating to see the differences between school board races around the country, because you're right, in your area, you guys can run together, and it gives you strength, right, to be part of a pack running, right? Correct. But in many of our places, these candidates are running all by themselves. So having that backup that you had from a chapter is even more important because they are truly running their own race. So thank you for stepping up and being strong and winning your race and flipping your board to parental rights, pro-parental rights candidates. That's amazing. So we are excited to see more of that happen. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you so much. Yeah. So for those of you who maybe heard her story and what she was able to accomplish and what her chapter was able to accomplish, and you want to do that in your area, 2024 could be your year, I promise. There's going to be tons of races. There's going to be tons of seats up. Like I said before, most of our candidates are first-time candidates. And so if you need a little assistance figuring out what it takes to run for school board, you can do that with our campaign kit. We've produced a product that has a handbook, a workbook. Oh, now we're dueling Christmas trees. Okay, I see how it is.
Just going to add me in. I saw you went and got a tree and covered your bowling pin. So I saw your Charlie Brown tree. I was like, I can't let Tina show me up with in the hat and the tree. I got to have something to come back with. Jessica, can you surprise me into Marie? I want to show her my tree. Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you're on.
It's okay. No, Tina, tell us while you're here. Obviously, Tina, that's your background. You ran for school board. Tell us why you decided to run for school board and why you think people should consider it in 2024, even though it is some of the most contentious races now.
Yeah, one more thing. Notice I put on merch too, so I'm trying to. I can't catch up to Pat with my tree, but I'm gonna between the hat and the tree.
You beat us both. Let's be honest.
I know. And she looked like she was like on NBC or some television show, like "Welcome to my home this evening." I'm like, wow, I'm in my back my Charlie Brown tree. Anyway, school board. When I talk about this, I can almost get emotional. And Marie, you know this about me. One of the honors of my life to serve on the school board in my local district, in my community. I'm not going to say every minute because sometimes it was really challenging, but overall, I loved those 4 years. I loved serving. I ran again to get reelected, and I lost my election, and it was pretty heartbreaking. It led to Moms for Liberty being launched, but I ran for a lot of reasons. I started seeing issues in my children's education. I was becoming more and more involved. I spent 10,000 volunteer hours a year at the school, and with that, I saw lessons. I saw things that were coming home that were concerning, and then you start to see policies that are concerning. And I mean, for years I was volunteering in the school. I had no idea who served on our school board here. Never really concerned me. I knew where our principal was. I knew where my teachers were, obviously, but I didn't know anything about the school district and what was going on. But I did see problems. And when I started asking about the problems, it always was, oh, that's the school board. That's the school board. So I drove down there one night, spoke to them about some over-testing I thought was happening, got my 3 minutes, was shaking in my boots, giving my 3 minutes. And they said, that's the state. It's all our moms go through. It's the learning curve. Who has the authority to fix this problem? Oh, not us. So go home, look up who my state rep is. Turned out I went to high school with them, but I didn't know who he was. Went down and visited him. He said, "No, it's your school board." Now I'm in this circle of who made this problem? They're like this, and it turned out they weren't communicating. There was a standoff between Republican, kind of Democrat-leaning, maybe school board, and conservative Republican leaders, in education, and they just weren't even going to listen to each other. And so I kind of became the person that mended that fence in a way, and got some policies at the state level change that impacted the school district. And I saw that, and I thought, I'm just a mom. I can't believe I did that. And within 30 days of me visiting the school board and then talking to my state rep and the state policy being changed, and I was like, I can do this. I think I can do this. And the seat opened up where I live, and someone came up to me one day at a luncheon and said, the lady that is in the school board seat where you live is not running again. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to run. And it was the honor of my life. I absolutely loved being involved in the schools, participating in the programs, helping teachers navigate issues, helping parents navigate issues, just serving in that capacity. So I encourage anybody to run. I think everyone should serve in some sort of local office. Maybe school board isn't for you, but there's county commissioners or city council, mosquito control, whatever it is. You do your civic duty, step up. And if you really, really, really don't want to be an elected official, help someone that you believe in become an elected official.
Yeah, you just rock the world of everyone who does not live in the South, that they've now realized there's mosquito control boards.
Oh, they probably have those in North Dakota. Well,
probably not, but
yeah,
Tina's correct. If you want to run for local office, you should. It's not for everyone, and you should do it at the right time, but unlike Tina or Tiffany, who both were set on our board, which Tiffany could be here tonight. She's otherwise occupied in DC, but both of them took a look at our campaign kit when we were about to release it, and we're like, oh, I wish I had this when we ran for school board. And so you can be empowered to be successful and make the types of changes that Tina was just sharing with us by accessing our campaign kit. So do that. And I'm going to now toss. We have now the great Geraldine Jones joining us, and she is going to share the next highlight that we're going to have and introduce one of her state reps.
How to turn my mic up. First, thank you so much for both of your introductions, and then eventually getting over to me. I just want to say, I think that obviously we're running. You can run for school board, but then you can also there's another way to do it, and it's getting involved with your legislators. And first, before I introduce the legislator that we are going to have speaking today, I want to share a highlight that we did with our legislative victories this year. And we participated, or our victory is we helped pass, or signed, I should say, 24 bills in 7 different states, which is incredible because it shows that parents across the nation are getting getting brave enough to stand up for what they believe in, and willing to fight for it. I think that's huge. I chose to pick this legislator, one, because when I first visited the Capitol as a parent, I had a conversation with him, and I felt like I was heard. I felt like he was genuine. He was knowledgeable on a topic that was a concern for me as a parent. And I don't know, I was just very excited to be involved and talk to him. And like I said, I just felt like I was heard. So I didn't know if I was going to run for, school board, or, if that was even an avenue that I wanted to do again. But I just felt like this, like when this opportunity presented itself, the first name that came to my mind, was, Representative Jeff Shipley, from Iowa. So I'm going to toss it over to him, and yeah, go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Geraldine. Am I coming through? Okay, well, it's great to be with everyone. Thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you so much for all the Moms for Liberty out there. It's really an honor to be with you tonight, and it's an honor to just work with the organization. You guys are such a driving force for change, and the work you're doing is just so critical and so important. And I know it's not always easy, and they're definitely throwing the kitchen sink at you. And I think that's really an indication how effective you are and how important the work you're doing is. And it just reveals the stakes, right? I mean, and the way I'm thinking about is, obviously parents have been labeled as even domestic enemies and terrorists, which means they have no legal rights. So obviously the stakes are very high in this game. And so being able to stand with you and stand for the innocence of our children and just a public education system that's not revolutionary and set to undermine society. Anyway, it's just the most important work. And so you guys really are on the front lines and have just been so instrumental. And going back to what we just heard about, the work, when we do this, it really should be a joy. It should be uplifting, and it should be empowering to us. What we're doing is realizing our power and claiming our power, not just as mothers and parents and fathers, but as citizens in our country, and that we have a duty to our community. And certainly working for Moms for Liberty has been a great joy. Sometimes it is very lonely at the State House, and we know there's a lot of work to do, but it's sometimes very difficult to pinpoint exactly what the problems are. And so having the direction for Moms for Liberty has been instrumental in all the success we've had, and really just getting clarity on some very basic legal questions about whether schools should be lying to parents as a matter of policy. Thankfully, here in our state, we got that cleaned up, both in the legislature and in the federal courtroom, and it's because parents are willing to just stand up and speak the truth and push back. So success can happen, and we've been very successful, and our success, I place 100% of the credit is in the mothers who stepped up, particularly the Moms for Liberty, who've equipped themselves with the tool that it takes to win. A lot of people go to the Capitol and they like to complain, they like to point out problems, but it really does take that next quality of leadership to go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to learn how to get good at this. I'm going to learn and equip myself with the tools I need to be successful, to learn the ropes. And really the best way to do that is to just jump right in and do some trial and error, and make sure you are carving out time for Leadership Institute and other things where you can learn for people who've come before you. So anyway, that's obviously really impressive and shows that you guys are there for the long haul. And, no matter what happens, as long as you are able to live to fight another day, I think your success is assured, because, we talk about exercising power and claiming our power, and a mother's love for her child, clearly being one of the most powerful forces in nature. It's a very primal fight that you're engaged in, and I think you will be victorious just because the forces of nature are behind you, because you guys are very spiritually and ask God for help, etc. You guys are positioning yourself for victory, remembering that it's a long ball game. But obviously it's not always easy, and a lot of these school boards are $100 million organizations. They're not just going to let you in and take over the board of directors. These hostile takeovers oftentimes take years. But I think a lot of people have laid the groundwork, and at the very least now they have a better idea of what it takes and what it's going to require to be successful. So the only way we can fail in this fight is if we're not learning from our experience. The only way we can fail is if we're not having fun. And there will be moments where it is fun, certainly in victory, when you celebrate, and it gets easier too. I remember trying to talk back on these subjects, or any subject, you get those butterflies when you get enough experience, it becomes more exciting, more exhilarating as you speak up in these school board meetings. It gets easier. It does get more fun, especially when you get those initial nerves settled. So it really is just a battle of willpower, and that we want a healthy and happy life for our children more than they want their communist revolution. We just have to want it more and be able to stick to it. And really, there is no failure as long as we're always moving forward, as long as we're building our list, building friendships, getting experience, learning on the issues, speaking on the issues, connecting with our decision makers, showing up at the Capitol. As long as we're gaining that experience, we are making progress. Even if it's just one donor at a time, motivating and inspiring people to that generosity to give and contribute, and then that we form a collective front in this cause. So anyway, I'm super excited for what Moms for Liberty has done and what the future holds. And like I said, I certainly am very much in gratitude because it's made my life a lot more enjoyable. And at least in my local school districts, we're a lot better positioned now than we were a couple of years ago. And I have no doubt it's because of the credit of parents speaking up and making it very clear what they will and will not tolerate in their schools. So thank you so much for Moms for Liberty, and God bless you and keep up all the great work. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future holds.
Thank you so much, Jeff. It really means a lot that you're able to make this call.
Yeah, it's an honor to be with Moms for Liberty. There's a reason why you guys are the most interesting thing in politics and the most powerful thing in politics. So again, it's an honor to be with you in this fight, and thanks for the invitation.
Of course. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to Jeff for jumping on. And if there's one thing that our listeners are grabbing from this conversation tonight is I hope that you feel empowered to get involved in some way or another, whether that is to talk to your legislators or run for school board, or just try to figure it out as you go. Something somebody said to me one time is, you're going to fail. Anticipate the failure, but fail forward. And that just simply means that when you are approaching something, you may lose or you may fail. But learning from that experience and taking what you've learned and going forward and continuing to stand up and dust yourself off and go out and just continue that fight, it truly means that is what you believe in, that is what you are going to fight for, and you're not going to give up. And to me, Moms for Liberty, that is, you're fighting for your kids, okay? You're fighting for your kids' education, for their upbringing, and to me, I think that is just so powerful. And to me, I think our kids are worth it. I am not going to give up on my kids, or your kids for that matter. I think that I will fight for your parental rights, because I believe that is something that was bestowed upon you, and it's just something that I'm going to continue to fight for. So let me just check. I have a final note here. I would like to, like I said, encourage anybody to get involved in your state. Figure out what you believe in. And if you don't know where to start somewhere and figure it out as you go. I have been in this fight for quite some time. I would say probably the last 4 or 5 years I ran for school board. I've continued to pick myself up and dust myself off. The last, like Jeff said, this last school board election was very contentious, and we lost all 4 seats. That very next day, they were saying "ha ha" in your face, and I was not having it. They can throw anything at me that they possibly can, but I know that I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to do it with a smile on our face, because our kids are watching. Okay, our kids are watching us, and it is our job to lead by example. So, and we're just going to continue to do that. So, I'm going to turn it back to Tina.
Thanks, Geraldine. My time in Iowa is some of my favorite memories over the last 3 years. So I have visited Iowa. I have never been to Iowa in my life, and I have, since starting Moms for Liberty, have been to Iowa multiple times. And I will say, sorry to the rest of you, Iowa has some of the nicest people in the world. And I don't mean just like our chapter people. Whenever I visit any state with our chapters, everybody is lovely and nice. But Iowa people, drivers are nice. They you trying to put your blinker on and they wave you over, they back up. No one tries to run you off the road. No one lays on the horn. No one speeds up so you can't get by. The people in Iowa, and when I learned when I was out there, it's called Iowa Iowa Nice. That's what Jen Turner said in Polk County. It's called Iowa Nice. It's a thing, apparently. But I met Representative Shipley out there and many of their other representatives. Their governor is extremely supportive, Governor Reynolds, of them and the work that they're doing. And it is, I was invited to the Iowa State Fair. The experiences that I have had doing this with our moms has just been awesome. And Carolyn, you and I had dinner one night when I was out there the last time, and I really enjoyed that. So just so grateful for all of you. I am going to work to close this out here. I have a job I have to do with a giveaway that I don't really know how to do, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. Marie, you might have to hop on and help me. Look, I was told to bring a beanie and socks, and Marie gave them to me, brand new ones in a little pack on my desk today. Take these home tonight, and we're giving them away, and you need to show them on the screen, and well, they're still sitting on my desk. So I failed miserably there, but we're going to get to that in just a minute. First, I just want to tell you that, reiterate, it's been a hard year. It's been a hard 3 years. I love this meeting. I love hearing all of your warrior spirits. And we are not stopping. We are not slowing down. Losing a few school board races here and there means nothing. Marie said 365 people right now are sitting on school boards that are our candidates that we endorse, that we help get elected. We're just getting started. We've got 2024 is a month away. And we have big plans for 2024. So I just saw one of your comments over there, and it said, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And for chapter chairs that were at Summit last summer, you will remember that Mary Milben and Claude were there talking about the song that they were writing, the anthem for mothers, and the anthem for the parental rights movement. And it is finished. Well, the writing is finished. The production is not completed yet. But one of the opening line pretty much is, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And so I saw that over there tonight, and I was like, yes, exactly, spot on. So that's one exciting thing we have planned for 2024. We have Summit 2024 planned. We'll put the graphic back out on national probably tonight or tomorrow. Washington, D.C., mark your calendars. August 29th through August 31st. We will be right in downtown Washington, D.C. We will be having activities that are going to blow away last year and the year before. So I know that, in the chapter chair chat today, you guys were like, how could you possibly top last year? Well, we're going to do it. We are excited about it. We have a lot coming up this year. We have school board races galore in 2024, and we have plans to help you win those school board races. The campaign kit that Marie and Jessica developed, training and tools. The PAC is now launched and functioning. So Moms for Liberty is just getting started. So join us. If you're on here, you're a member. So I'm not going to say if you're a member, but tell your friends, bring your friends, share, be proud to be part of Moms for Liberty. Wear your merch out, start conversations. I wear it on planes. I wear it in the airports. I've never had a problem. People ask, if anything, you're walking down, because I always sit in the cheap seats in the back of the plane. I get on the plane usually with my jacket or my hat and my jacket, and people are going like this as you're walking down the plane. You feel good. You're like, yeah, I'm doing something. I'm doing it. Okay. Now, Marie, do I need your help? You're supposed to text VIP if you want to win. It's a navy beanie with Moms for Liberty embroidered and a pair of Moms for Liberty socks, which are like Argyle with the Moms for Liberty logo on them. They are beautiful. Marie told me I had to describe them in great detail since I didn't bring them home. They are warm. I have my own pair. I wore them with boots in the airport last week to wherever I was. And so if you want to win those, I don't know how this works, Marie.
It's easy. You just text the word VIP, technically initials, VIP, to 53445. It's scrolling along eventually at the bottom of your screen. You're going to text there. You'll get an automated text back that'll tell you our winner will be chosen at random from everyone that texts in. And we will contact the winner and arrange delivery so that you can get that beautiful beanie and those Argyle socks. And you can be prepared for a place that does not have mosquito control boards.
Awesome. All right, Marie, do we have anything else, or are we?
That's it.
Here. Okay, we will be launching early bird registration for Summit in January. There's going to be something else very exciting being launched in January, so stay tuned. The song probably will be out in March, so just so much coming up. You all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, starting today if you're one of our Jewish chairs and Jewish friends, and we hope everybody just has a great holiday season.
Have a Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry.
And trying to have as great of treats as we have. I mean, it's